welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, when we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately, 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get 3. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do 2 to the cast, 1 to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just want to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out, and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are on for another episode of Hunters of Calamity 2. I'm pretty excited because the group got to a pretty important spot last week after a harrowing and challenging journey through hallways and over a bridge. They managed to get to the location, and it's pretty scary looking. So to kind of recap, they went over sort of this chasm with
stalagmites that were essentially a bed of spikes at the bottom of this chasm. Um, and there was a lot of puzzle and Indiana Jones booby trap style stuff that they had to deal with. They got to the other side and got to the main room, and it looked a lot like the treasure vault that we saw in the last season of this game, um, but with some key differences. Um, the biggest one being that there didn't seem to be like a big vault door over to the side like there was in the other one. Just a big sort of altar in the middle with some writing, and they saw a case that looked like it was meant to contain this black lyridium that they've been seeing throughout the cave. But it had grown through the case and grown up into the ceiling, apparently spreading throughout this mountain that they're under. And that's pretty much where we left. We also had some experimentation with the crystals from that, which showed that it has a property of amplifying energy that's directed into it. Though there's still some mystery on how much makes it explode and how much makes it a battery, or does other things. So I imagine there'll be some experimenting today with that. But that's pretty much where we're at in the story. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll hop back in. So starting at the top left, Zan couldn't be here today due to still moving, but he did say he should be back next week. He normally plays Jebediah Mason, honorary Ted, who is, the intern of the group. Put it that way. That's probably the best way to describe Jeb. But Zan's awesome. He does a lot of tabletop content and supplements and things like that, so definitely check out his Twitter, which is right over there, right underneath the frame. With that, we'll hop down to Nikki. Tell us a little bit about MJ and yourself. I think you might be muted there still.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I honestly, I guess I don't know how to use a mute button. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So MJ is fun. Sorry, I'm really bad at this.
No worries at all.
One day I want to write a summary and just like read it, and you guys will be so impressed. But
that works.
It's fun. And MJ lies a lot.
That's true. Also an excellent driver. All right.
Yes. So she says.
With that, we'll hop on over. At Agent Boss or Alex was also unable to join us tonight, but they should be back next week. They play Allison, quote unquote Al 10, who's a robot with a tendency to borrow things without permission that aren't nailed down. And they really like cigarettes, even though they're a robot, they can't really literally smoke them. And Alex is also great and does a lot of really cool art, so definitely check out their stuff. Their Twitter is also below their little video frame there. Hopping up to Pat, tell us a little bit about Wesley and yourself.
Hey, hi, I'm Pat. I'm Attactric on Twitter and on Twitch, and I play Wesley, who is ostensibly the head of the Church of the Sleepless Way, and has never felt better and is absolutely in his prime since discovering the magical properties of Dark Lyridium, which to this moment I don't think has had any major downsides.
Give it time. And what do you do?
I play games here and other places, and occasionally on my channel, now that I remember it exists. There's going to be more of that soon. when Zan is not moving, Leland, and I have been playing some Divinity Original Sin there on Fridays. Leland and Alex and myself, as well as a few other friends, are going to be having a Lancer game going soon Wednesday nights, which is all big space mechs and stuff. So that'll be starting in the next month or sometime in the next month, few weeks. I don't know. It'll be on my Twitter. Yeah, I think that's the big stuff right now.
Awesome. Next, we've got Icy Historian. Tell us a little bit about Lula May and yourself.
Friends, I'm Icy Historian, and I play Lula May Jessup. Lula May is the former but 100% still current gray market arms dealer in the realm of Calamity, who is been lovingly rehabilitated by the local corporate overlord and is totally 100% not plotting their downfall. Not at all, on any level. And she would like to posit that the idea of Dark Liridium having 0 negative side effects is perhaps a slightly biased interpretation of the previous session's proceedings, but will decline not to voice her concerns at the present moment.
I think Brownie and Ghost Ted would definitely agree that no negative repercussions at all.
Yeah, when we name the hallucinations and they have like character arcs of their own, that tells me that we've had a negative. That's like a negative consequence of something. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to pretend to be one, but like I just figured I'd put that out there. And in terms of what basically do this and talk about stuff on Twitter.
Awesome.
There you go.
And then last but not least, we've got Michael. Tell us a little bit about Amanda and yourself.
Hello there, I'm Michael Wayne. You give me a clip, I'll give you a GIF. I will be playing Amanda Starr, who, when frustrated by others not wanting to move forward, will slide down staircase on a shield and try to propel us past things to hopefully get across the bridge in less than 2 hours. But again, I am very much one of those that tries to be unlucky without having the unlucky flaw. You can find me here as well as on Wednesdays on Bardic Nox channel about 1 p.m. Central Time for Digimon/Crash, Digimon Tabletop RPG, where I play a reflavored version of Billy Bliss with Abertmon.
That's awesome. Then I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which includes streaming, obviously. I also do professional game mastering, tabletop design, voice acting, art, and graphic design, a whole bunch of stuff. You can find out all about that at my Twitter, which is right down below. You can also go to linktree/TheRaven, just like it is on my Twitter, and you can see all of my links, Patreon, my website and portfolio, all that stuff's on there. And then I play literally everything else in the universe for this game as the Game Master. I think that is about it for all of our introductions, so we'll hop into the story. So sort of rewinding a little bit, you all step into this big, it's not really so much a cavern as it is like a big giant room. Those amethyst-colored smooth stone walls are still present here with the same intricate carvings and designs. There are 2 floors to the room, which the top floor is sort of like a half floor. As you look up, you can see there are 4 pillars at either corner of the room which sort of support this top half floor, almost like a balcony. And there are some stairs coming down from 2 of the corners down to this ground floor. In the middle of the room is an altar with that same amethyst-colored stone, and on top of that is sort of like a big display case with something that resembles glass, but you can tell right off the bat that it's not glass. It looks thicker and a little bit more durable, but it is clear in that you can see through it. And inside is a big chunk of that black iridium, the stuff that you've been seeing all throughout the caves. And it looks like that case was meant to contain it, but it has broken through and grown up into the ceiling along the two back pillars of the room, and then on up through the roof of this room, or the ceiling of this room, into the rest of the mountain. And that's what you're presented with. There's also plenty of writing, as I said, that you can inspect in here if you would like.
If you don't mind, if I add a little illumination, and pulls out what kind of looks like a little, like balled up can, throws it up just a little bit, and it kind of like ignites for a second, and then just kind of blooms in like a light little bit of small lights. Like it's mostly actually ground up. I forget the word. When you tinfoil, that's been grounded up through a coffee grinder to allow for a lot more refraction of light from a little bit of spark.
Gotcha.
And just let it kind of like it's floating down so that there's a little bit of light within the area.
Oh, that's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, as you do so, it does illuminate things a little bit more. There's already some faint illumination from the black iridium sort of torch that you have. But as you light that up, you can see a little bit more of the intricacies and the carving work on the columns and the stairs. You can see that it is pretty dusty in here. And you can see that little bits of the ceiling have fallen down to the floor as well, either through some sort of seismic activity or perhaps through these big things of crystal growing up into the ceiling. Aside from that, the illumination doesn't light up a whole lot more. It does make the crystals look very pretty as light refracts off of them. Some of it seems to be absorbed in certain areas. You might notice that because it doesn't reflect off of certain parts of the crystal. But the smaller ones it does seem to reflect off of, and it definitely reflects off of the walls. But aside from that, nothing really happens or suddenly appears or anything like that.
Wesley, you are the accredited person here. Do you have an advised position before I try to inspect the actual consoles?
Right. I feel like this is usually the point in these places where something big comes out to kill us. So I was kind of waiting for that. But I guess go and inspect ahead.
Yeah, Lulubei is gonna keep to the edge, right? Like, because she doesn't want to attract anything's attention that might be looking into the middle of the room, and she's going to look at the writing on the walls and see if she can even figure out anything about it.
Wesley, MJ, can either of you pull me back quickly?
Okay, but then can MJ look at the writing? She wants to look at it too.
Like right now, you want us to grab you?
No, I want to just check so that way, I can throw a yo-yo to you if the falls under me. That way you can catch it and start pulling me, just as a backup before I walk across this.
Prepping for booby traps, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, before I cross this empty area to the console. I feel like that's where a good collapse of the ground could be.
Sure, I'm probably out of character. I think I'm probably good at whatever skill check that would be.
That would be a strength check, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Thank you. Then I will walk across this not trapped area to the consoles.
As you start to walk across, I know one of you still has a radio.
I think Jeb and I might have had them. Maybe.
All right. I'm gonna say that Jeb has one and that Al has one for cast and story reasons. Um,
Elle probably stole mine at some point.
That's a fair point. So yeah, we're gonna say that Al has one, and Al hears, hey, guys, I'm starting to feel more weird. If one of you could come up here and check out what's going on. I'm also hearing noises. I might be hallucinating. I'm not sure. Al decides to go up and check on Jebediah. So Al heads back up to the top, where Jeb is next to the crushed jeep. And that's where they'll be for the session. Then Amanda, as you walk towards the altar in the middle of the room, there is a sort of soft crunch as you step on this dust and pieces of debris, little bits of the ceiling. You probably would notice that it doesn't seem to stir up a lot of dust. So the particulate matter that's here seems to be very heavy and dense, so it doesn't get kicked up into the air as you walk across. As you get to the altar, get a sight roll to see what all you notice.
Are you sure this can't be any like smell or anything else?
I mean, you can try to observe it with smell. Are you going to walk up to it and sniff it?
I just wanted to check to see because I have a better smell than I have sight. I'm literally just BSing for the that.
I will absolutely let you roll smell if you want to try to glean information that way. I think sight will be more useful.
Yes, but useful isn't as funny.
It's true. So with a 12, I think you're probably a little bit hyper-focused on the crystal growing out of the display case. And so that's really about all you notice for the moment. The floor doesn't fall out from under you. There's no booby traps or anything like that trigger. So you're safe for the moment. MJ was going to go look next. Was that right? All right, go ahead and walk up to the altar, and I will also have you roll sight, unless there's a different sense that you want to try to use.
MJ, you're still muted?
Oh no, nat one. Yeah, you're still muted. So with a nat one, as you go up to the altar and try to look around to get some more information on this thing, with the nat one, you probably would look up just right at the wrong moment, right as a tiny little piece of the ceiling falls down, and you just get, dirt in your eyes, basically. So you're probably, blinking a lot and going, oh man, I got something in my eyes. It's going to take you a little bit to get that out of there. So you don't notice anything.
Okay.
Good news, the floor doesn't fall out from under you. You don't set off any booby traps or anything like that. Does Wesley or Lula May want to look at the big altar thing in the middle of the room?
Is that the only place where there's writing?
There's still some writing on the columns and on the walls, and with Amanda's little flare thing, you probably noticed some writing on the walls upstairs as well.
Okay, so Lula May will make her way over to the altar and check it out.
Okay. Let's see if we can get above a 15 on a sight check. Reminder, you do have 3d6s.
I'm gonna use one. Do you all mind if I pop one of them puppies?
Nah. Sight isn't the one I'm really caring about. It's more when I go to actually inspect the console or altar thing. Do I want to have a good roll?
All right. So a 16. That is enough to notice some things. You notice that there's a lot of writing on the altar. It's sort of like a big plaque in the middle. And then just above that, before before you get to the glass-looking part of the case. There seem to be 3 little indentions, and there are 3 stones or crystals that are sitting in them. And each stone is a different color, but from what you can tell, it looks like it's polished and dyed either black iridium or regular iridium, because all 3 of them have a faint glow to them. And you're not sure, but you're thinking maybe this is some sort of puzzle.
So, Lulame, are they in set? Do the colors of the stones match the place where they're sitting, or does it match the shape?
The indentions are basically just that, an indention. It's not like a slot or anything like that. There doesn't seem to be any indication of which crystal's supposed to go where. But they're not doing anything at the moment, and you're pretty sure this is some sort of test.
All right.
So trial and error might be your best solution, or you could look for more information on some of the other text.
Yeah, Lulame is gonna look at them and see that they're glowing, and basically surmise from before that they have been imbued with some energy, because that seems to be what presents the glow before it presents the explosion. So Lulame is gonna kind of take note of that, and it's not like she doesn't trust Wesley, but she's not she knows that he probably has some idea, but she's not really sure exactly how clear his mind might be right now, and whether or not she would be contributing to some other problem that she doesn't really know much about. So she's going to continue to look at the text and see if there are any recurring symbols or recurring phrases or things where she might be able to puzzle out some of what's going on.
Okay. Let's do an education roll.
Oh, good.
We're going to use problem-solving skills.
That's unfortunate. I can't charm it.
You can
Not
try.
with that attitude.
Can I beat it? Can I verbally beat it? Oh, I actually did. Oh, I have okay in education. No, I don't.
So a 13. Yeah, you're a little stumped on what this means. You're having a hard time reading the text, but you do notice something that you missed on your visual inspection the first time. That there do seem to be some faded and sort of scratched symbols just in front of the indentions that might give you some clue.
Hey, do I see those symbols after they're faint? Do I see them repeated anywhere? In text?
Yeah, they do show up in the text, and they do resemble the shapes of those crystals that are in the slot, or the indentions.
Okay, so am I... Sorry, I mean, I just... Sometimes I need to, process.
You're good.
So I've got 3, slots with crystals in them, and then a symbol in front of each slot, yes?
Mm-hmm. The symbols are dusty and faded and scratched. They're a little hard to read.
So Lulame is going to actually dust them off, wipe them off with her hand, and she's actually going to take out her lipstick because it's the only thing she has to write with, and she's actually going to try and trace them to make them show up a little bit better so that she can visually see the symbol and then look for it in above.
Okay. Kind of trying to recreate the symbol on the spot where it's faded out, you mean?
Yeah, so there's if it's something that could be a scratch or could be a line, so she can if she sees things that are similar, she can wipe away, oh, that's just a scratch from something, and as opposed to an actual part of the symbol if they're in rough shape.
You're gonna hate me, but that's gonna be an art roll.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. You know what, Raven? I'm just so glad we did this today. I just I feel really capable and really not Oh, team.
A 13?
No, that would be a
Um,
6.
Oh, no, there it is. A 6. Um, yeah, um, you try your best, but your hand's a little shaky, and you just sort of smudge lipstick over the entire thing. It's now
Oh.
harder to read than it was before.
She's gonna look at it and she's gonna go, "Oh, biscuits!" And she's gonna like take a corner of her apron and wipe it all off and like, go back to just visually like trying to figure it out instead of trying to be all clever and smart about it.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to wipe it off, no problem. Nothing negative happens.
Yeah, so she could just be trying to figure out like either she doesn't want to move the crystals in case it's like one of those like you release it and then the box of eggs comes down from the ceiling and you have to fight it. She's more trying to figure out like do they need to be moved? Do they need to be put in a different order? Like that's the type of thing she's trying to figure out while everyone is doing what else they're doing.
Okay. This might help visualize a little bit too. So they're a little bit more intricate than the shapes I'm going to describe here.
Nice.
But to give you an idea of the rough shape. So one looks a bit like a star, and that one is in the middle. The crystal is. One looks like a very flowy L. Has like a water-like quality to it, like maybe it was made to resemble a wave or a waterfall or something. And it's in the left position as you're facing it. And then the one on the right is sort of like a plus shape. Like a plus or a cross kind of shape. And the L is blue, the star is red, and the plus or cross is green. And you do notice that the little where it says where the symbols should be, on that the left-hand one is not scratched out so bad, and it looks like it could be the star or it could be the plus. But you can rule out that the left position is not the L.
Okay. So what is in that slot now? What color?
Currently, it's the blue L.
Okay.
So I
was-
will type this out in Zoom chat, so we've got a list of where they are. And in the meantime, what I do want to find out what Wesley's doing.
Love it.
Right. So they've clearly got the console taken care of. I am looking all around the room for anything else that is interesting. Like you said that it looked like there was some almost like a specimen container that this all erupted out of. So I'm kind of like peering at crystals and stuff and seeing if maybe they erupted and there's like they've covered anything up, if that makes sense. Like the cave up top that we came into, like these rocks had like blocked an entrance that like the car hit and opened up. So I'm kind of like going and like wiping crystals and like staring through like store windows.
Okay, I gotcha. Let's do a sight roll for that. Just visually inspecting everything. 21. Nice. Yeah, you definitely see where some of the crystals have sort of grown down the back wall. And you figure that if there were a door, this is probably where it would be. But you don't notice anything through looking through the crystals. You might pick up a little bit of writing on the wall behind it, but it doesn't look like it's a door. As far as you can tell, this is the only room like in this section of the structure.
This might be weird, but can I put my ear up to the crystal?
Absolutely.
And like listen?
Let's do a hearing check.
Crystals,
11.
can you hear me?
And then a discipline check.
God. Ooh, okay.
20. Okay.
Can you hear me, Crystals?
You don't hear a whole lot. Just the very faintest echo of Brownie going, I can hear you.
Yes, Wesley, I can hear you.
Okay. Did you figure? Did you solve whatever this place is yet?
Not yet. We are still working, Wesley. But you are the experts. We are learning. You would have the most knowledge here. We are just trying to figure things out. I'm currently just trying to follow the magic and electronics of it right now. Because it seems like MJ has the console itself focused on. And what I think, what Amanda's trying to do is to essentially Stargate it, and that figuring out what would be the magical, mechanical parts of it, like following kind of like where this is going along the lines of in the actual mechanics, the magic is flowing to see what equals what, much like you would follow a battery circuit and its power on there. And I'm good
Okay.
with if you want two separate roles for that.
No, that's a magic engineering. You're essentially sensing, trying to sense the flow of magic.
Yes, and the mechanical aspect. So that's why, I was thinking I might need two. One for the
Gotcha.
magic, one for the mechanical.
Let's see how you do on the first one. 29. It's a pretty good roll. So with a 29, you actually don't sense a lot of active energy in the room right now. There is some, and it does seem to be flowing upwards. With you having life magic, it might seem somewhat familiar to the way a person's the way a person's magic might sort of originate in their core and their center, and then sort of flow upwards towards their head and then downwards.
As the chi goes from upwards, it must flow down, as all knowledge must.
Kind of that idea, yeah. But this only seems to be flowing upwards.
Okay, so do you want another roll for the mechanical aspect?
Yeah, you can give it another try. You did well enough on that one. 19. So you're trying to figure out, how this magic works, essentially?
Yeah, just because this is a combination of magic and mechanics to, focus the actual energy into a point. It's going up towards that way currently. So
Okay.
that would mean that we would know, possibly at most, which of the console is lit up to have the power go upwards.
Okay. So as you're sensing it and you're looking at where the energy's flowing and everything, you're pretty much able to ascertain that this black crystal is not related to how the altar works. They are unrelated in that regard. So doing anything with the black thoridium that's growing out of it isn't going to make the altar do whatever function that it's there to do. But you are able to learn a little bit more about the black thoridium itself. With a 19, I would normally say that's not high enough, but because you all did all that experimentation at the mouth of the cave first, you're coming into this with a little bit more information than you would otherwise. So you're able to kind of put two and two together. And you can kind of tell that this substance, it takes active energy, converts it into potential energy, and then amplifies it.
Okay.
So
Well,
if you put a small amount of energy into it, it will store that and then put it out at twice the output. But if you put too much energy into it, it will explode, much like overcharging a battery will make a battery explode.
I have good news and bad news. Wesley you are completely correct on energy flowing into it will allow it to store as a battery, and then too much will explode. roughly as a 1 to 2. So in the future, if you're using it, these ones, try to put in about half the magic you would normally. The bad news is that the current console has the power going upwards. So its current configuration is allowing for power to go upwards for a reason. And maybe that's why like most of the crystals have gone upwards, but that would mean that at most maybe we change up the configurations, the power might come downwards.
No, you actually do know that the altar has no effect on where the energy is flowing to. So the puzzle on the altar will not directly affect the crystal that's in front of you. It will do something else.
So console does something else, but there's power going up, crystals going up.
The power or the energy that's in the crystal that's flowing upwards seems to be more a function of how it grows rather than there being like a power source connected to it and it directing power upwards.
So there's that. I have a bad feeling if the console is separate from the actual stuff, I think it's supposed to bring a power to here that the crystals would react with. That's just my 1 in 1. Because why else would you have a console that's separate from how the power and the crystals are going upwards?
Lulame is going to be listening to this.
Didn't the crystals, like, they were in that jar that they broke out of? Like, I think all the shit with the crystals was afterwards. Right?
It is separate from the console, so you're not wrong.
If I may, I wonder if perhaps somebody, I don't know how long ago, I don't know how long it takes this stuff to grow. I wonder if somebody tried to get a little bit too much juju juice in that rock in there and had an unfortunate accident, much like ourselves in the upper chamber of this exact cavern. Perhaps they did not have a Ted, may he rest in peace, y'all, to take one for the team, as it were.
He's certainly resting in pieces.
I don't know. Rest in Viscera doesn't have the same ring. No, RIV doesn't have that same made for a tombstone kind of appeal, you know? People are going to think it's 5. Why would you rest in 5?
Because you're in 5 pieces.
I know Ted's death is fresh on your mind, but I would just say the church has had a very strict policy on what happens if you can't handle your drinks for a long time now. So that Ted knew what he was getting into.
We'll table that conversation to the next board meeting.
Right. Are there buttons? Have you tried pressing buttons yet?
Lulame's gonna touch the L because you said that it looks like it should either be the star or the plus sign, but the L is in that slot. Lulame's just gonna touch the stone, wait for a second, and if nothing terrible happens, she's gonna just take it out of the slot as if she's gonna move it.
It glows slightly as you touch it, and it emits a small little soft tone. But that's all that happens. Also, at this point, MJ's had time to get the dirt out of her eyes from the looking up as the ceiling pieces came down. So MJ, if there's something that you want to do here, you've had time to get the dirt out of your eyes.
You're still muted.
Is there anything else that she could look at that's not going to get dirt in her eyes?
Yeah, you can look at anything that you'd like at this point. You can help Lulame with the altar, or look at the crystals.
Yeah, she'll help Lulame.
Oh,
okay.
Um,
Let's do an education roll to see if you're able to figure this puzzle out.
okay.
Just a question, because I know like Amanda is focused on the mechanical aspect as they're messing with it. Would she gain any additional information while they're messing around?
Um, no, that's pretty much all the information you're able to get with that roll. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's any other information you can get right now. So yeah, MJ will do an education roll.
I just did. I just actually a good one.
Oh,
I
there it
think.
goes. 27. Yeah. Um, yeah, you're able to figure things out a little bit more. So you know that it does have to be put in a certain order, and that it will do a function. And as you're looking at it, it almost looks like, because these shapes resemble some of the rune-like symbols on the plaque, your best guess is that these represent certain words, and so putting them in a certain order creates a sentence. And this almost seems like a grammar puzzle, or like how one might teach a little bit of grammar or vocabulary to someone else.
Okay.
You're still not sure exactly what the words are, but you kind of understand the context of the puzzle now.
Lula May. Lula May.
Yes, darling.
I think I figured this out, and she's going to relay all of that stuff to her.
Okay,
But I
okay.
don't. But the words is a little bit different, so I thought maybe you could understand. No, seeing that, you have a little bit of brain. Any idea?
Oh girl. Oh girl. Okay. Uh oh. She's like very overwhelmed. She's like very, very overwhelmed by all of this. And she's like, okay, so we gotta like swap them, right?
Yeah.
Darling, I'll tell you something. I had
It
a
says something.
It does. I had a god awful attention span in school, darling. This type of thing. Oh, it's like trying to figure out the people in the line and which one has a red hat and born on a Thursday. So she's like trying to sort it out and like gently like pick up. She's got the L and is trying to figure out where it would go.
Okay.
Amanda remarks, "It's the one with the star."
The L is the one with the star?
No, the one is the star that had the red hat on Tuesday.
Oh, we didn't talk about. Oh no. Oh no.
As you're holding it, it's still glowing faintly and emitting that soft tone.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
I have a hat shop. If you guys want hats at any point.
All right. I go. You'll sweetheart, when we're done with this, you and I go hat shopping. So she's gonna like listen to the tone and like listen in like to see like about the matching.
Okay.
And being like leaning in on MJ and being like, girl, you gotta help me.
It's like a nice, soft, almost ethereal sounding middle C.
Okay. She's gonna like sing it a little bit so that she can like process it.
Okay. Where do you put it? And do you pick up one of the other ones?
Yeah, she's gonna pick up another one and see if the tone is gonna be higher or lower and see if that'll give her an idea of the order.
Okay. Which one do you pick up?
She picks up just the next one that's in the line. So she's got the L and she's gonna pick up the red star.
Okay. The red star has a deeper note, but it glows slightly red. It has a deeper note, like, let's say, probably somewhere around G, if you had to guess, maybe.
After this, Amanda will pick up the green one. Like, just get off and just grab. Oh my god! Like, thinks she figures it out.
Okay. Gonna slow down the time frame here then. So Lula May, you grab the blue one. It looked like sort of like a wave almost.
Okay.
It makes the middle C noise.
All
You
right.
grab the red one, it makes a deeper note.
Okay.
Do you immediately set them down?
So
in what
what
order?
she would do is she would pick up the third one to hear it if it would be higher or lower.
Okay, as you try to do so, Amanda, it looks like, is reaching for it. Do you want to try to grab it before Amanda can, or are you going to let Amanda just grab it?
I mean, Lula May's like not about to fight over a crystal with somebody. If like Amanda really wants in on the puzzle, she's not gonna fight her over it. So she's just gonna kind of step back and be like, "All right, I guess."
Okay. There's an important reason why I asked that. So, Amanda, as soon as you grab that green one, do you more like touch it first, or do you grab onto it and lift it immediately?
Grab and lift it up because she thinks she figured it out.
Okay, as you do, there is a loud sort of vibration sound that echoes through the room, almost as if like those stone walls, the amethyst-colored smooth stone walls, are resonating this sound, and it's a deep, like guttural noise. It sounds like some sort of alien language. All of you get the immediate sense that this is like a alarm, and it's at such a frequency on the reverberation that it's making you all feel a little bit nauseous.
Lula May's immediately going to put the lower tone one in the first slot and the middle C one in the third slot.
Okay.
And then Amanda immediately puts it in the middle. Oh, the green one.
Okay. All right. So Lulame, you're putting the red star in the left spot, right?
Yeah, it's gonna go red, I guess green, and then blue.
Okay. As you set the red one down, it's a little bit hard to hear because there's this loud alarm going off. So give me a hearing check to see if you pick up on something.
Oh, good.
Okay. You don't quite pick up on it because of the loud alarms. But as you set it down, it does glow a little bit brighter. Almost like it's blinking a couple of times, and then it goes back to its normal amount of light. Putting the green one down in the middle, as soon as you let go, Amanda, the alarm stops. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't glow different, like brighter or anything like that. But then Lulame, as you set the wave down in the third spot, there is a dissonant sound that comes from it, and you're able to tell like it probably doesn't go there.
She's gonna swap the middle one and the last one.
Okay. As you do, as you put the blue one in the middle, there's a harmonic sound that plays, and same with the green one. And as you put those together, in very video game fashion, you start to hear like this music, a melody that plays, and as you listen to it, the entire altar starts to glow a bit in the red, green, and blue colors, and suddenly you and MJ are able to read the language. So you can actually read what all these different things say.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, MJ too.
Okay, cool.
If only we had a legally distinct iPhone and I could take pictures of it.
I mean, you do. The only thing is, I mean, yeah, you can definitely take pictures of it, and you'll be able to read it. but nobody else will be able to read it on the pictures, of course. So you can take pictures if you like, but the altar itself, you're kind of having to decipher what it means. You're able to read the words, but it's like trying to read like Shakespearean English today. Like, you know what all those words are, but it takes you a little while to figure out the gist of what he's saying. Kind of have to figure that out. But the gist of it is that this is a containment room for a very dangerous substance, and you're unable to translate the word that they have for it, but you can tell it's a very if you translated it into like the musical tones like you heard with the crystals, it would be a very loud and dissonant sound, unpleasant. Yeah, it's dangerous, and it's a warning as well that witches should never touch it, should not be allowed to use it, because it can cause an apocalypse. They're a little vague on the details of what happens when witches use it, but everything about it says that it's dangerous, and that it was contained here, and all of these like barriers and puzzles were put in place to prevent witches from getting it.
Well, isn't that just a coincidence?
I've seen that you figured
So a
something
witch
good
jail
out.
for
Sorry, what was that?
I know it's a witch jail. No, MJ's just wondering. It's a witch jail for alarm clocks.
Lula May's gonna
mean?
tug on MJ's like half sleeve thing, and she's gonna point to the purple rock that's in the case that it broke out of. She's like, darling, all of this here was to keep that in there. That, if you do not remember, is also now inside Wesley.
Amanda walks over at
too?
this and just pats Wesley on the back. Good job.
Also, MJ,
Well, he doesn't
You're
look
probably-
too bad.
you're probably looking at some of the other texts as well. You might notice that the reason that it's not supposed to go to witches is that it's a corrupting power. It's a lot of power, and it corrupts. So it's kind of like if a Jedi uses the dark side, to put a comparison.
Just want to look over at Wesley to see if he looks corrupted. Like, that's something you can see.
Lula May looks like very,
Lula
very
May.
taken aback. Like, she looks very, like, actually concerned about all of this.
Lula May, is he seem corrupted to you?
So, Wesley,
Is he corrupted to you, Lula
I
May?
don't know if that's an out loud conversation right now, sweetheart. I think maybe you and I are going to need to table this, and the next time we have an open slot on the agenda, we can bring up previously tabled items. Because I don't know if you remember, but it took me an hour and a half to get Ted Innard off of this apron. And I don't really, darling, I don't really want to do the same to MJ Innard.
I don't have any, so okay.
We're gonna need to pause on this one, okay? Like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen an awful lot of things in my day, but I've never seen a man truly explode of his own gastrointestinal ignition.
Just be nice to him.
Wesley, as the expert, is there anything additional that we need to do, or can we just like grab a good couple of big chunks and then leave?
Oh yeah,
they did the thing to make it not dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, my pockets are full. I don't know if we could get I don't know if the church has like some cranes or some heavy machinery we could get over to this place. Because like normally, like the last place had like another door here where there was treasure behind. But I guess this is the treasure because it's great.
I still got a dynamite stick.
Lula May's gonna gently like take Amanda's, like as if like she had raised her hand and she's gonna go nope. Just like gently put, no, darling, not right now. Lula May's going to examine the container that the crystal has broken out of to see if there's anything different about the crystal in the container and what grew out of it. Like if it's a bulb plant situation or if it's just the same material all the way along. Like if there's something different about the specific kind of crystal in the container.
Gotcha. Yeah, as you look at it, it appears to be all the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the stuff inside the container is different than the stuff outside of it.
Okay. She's gonna like just look and see look at like little pieces and whatever and see how easy it would be to like break this chunk off and bring it back with them or whatever the situation might be.
So, Wesley, I have 300 feet upstream. Now, I think if we tied that to the dynamite stick and we go about 300 feet and then start the string on fire, that might work.
What? Work to do what?
To get the big crystal out, or because otherwise we're gonna have to bring all the parts to a crane down here and then build it up. But if we can get a big enough explosion, then we don't have to build a crane inside here.
Just to clarify here, because I have to say something here. So you want to put a stick of dynamite to blow off a hunk of crystal that you know absorbs active energy and then amplifies it by a factor of 2.
But not
This
that
is what
Wesley is
Wesley
supporting
wanted.
this. That is not.
We do not have a quorum on the vote. We have not observed proper parliamentary procedure, y'all. We are going to need to have a time for discussion and question and answer.
I mean, we did establish last week that it wouldn't set off a chain reaction. I still want no part of that. What would you do if you had it? How are you going to get it past that big ass hole that we had to like get flung
That's
across?
why we're creating another hole with us at a safe distance. But again, you're the expert. I'm going on what you want. When you say that's a bad idea, Wesley, then that's a bad idea, as the expert says.
I mean, I can't help but note that I got chided by the group last time I tried to make a big hole in the ceiling.
You made
Also,
a big
quick
hole
note.
in the ceiling with Ted.
No,
I think-
no.
There's
note,
room. Hey, I think you did a good job, but there is room for criticism.
Quick note, you all got an extra D6 because we got 5 interactions on the game tweet. The link is in chat if anybody wants to go. Retweets and comments count toward that. When we get to 10 interactions, then I get a D6. And then at 20 and 30 interactions, other cool things happen.
The reason you were covered in Ted is because he can't handle his magical liquor and redirect the energy like I was able to do.
She's gonna look at him like we're doing this now. We're gonna do this right now.
I resent.
We're gonna do this in front of Amanda.
Hey, again,
we're gonna
I
call
think
Wes. We're
Wesley
gonna call
did
me
a
a
good
murderer in front of the
job.
kids.
I didn't know. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you feeling a bit sensitive, Mr. Wesley? I am so
I'm
sorry.
doing
I did
just
the
fine.
word. The word
I would
murderer
agree.
did not
Wesley's
cross
doing
these
fine.
perfectly painted ruby lips.
I feel like there's a bit of a fracture in the dynamic that we had, and I'm just trying to sense where that came from.
I mean, it came from the fact, darling, that I watched 2 people consume a liquid with that rock in it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them exploded himself, which was we could all admit. Look, generic Ted. He wasn't exactly a jewel upon the cheek of the universe. We're all clear on that, you know. I mean,
Yes, but it was designed as the explosive, so it did do its job properly. It's just Ted was unfortunate enough to drink it.
darling, what I'm trying to get at is perhaps explosion would be the method we would want to stay away from, because this here stuff is real keen on exploding. Perhaps there is another method that we could get this out of here so that we can make better use of it, other than, you know, just a decorative element, and not possibly end up dying in a superheated pool of our own liquefied internal organs.
That's what the 300 feet upstream is for.
I'm not arguing in favor of an explosion, so I'm not sure where this hostility is coming from.
Yeah.
And if you don't think you can handle the drink, I guess just don't drink it.
Yeah.
The kid is fine.
Oh,
Jeb is fine.
we're gonna serve.
Well, if you guys
Okay.
want to argue on the
Okay.
thing, let's just go back up. Like, we'll find out what happens to Jeb that way.
Lula is gonna like take out some of her tools and see if she can like chip shards of the rock away. And she's gonna be like, "This man acting like I can't handle my liquor. I will show him. I will show him. Lula May Jessup. No man drinks Lula May Jessup under the table. I don't care. Gasoline or no gasoline." She's just muttering and like gently as possible, like totally juxtaposed against her, like like gently trying to tink away with like some of her like tools to see if she can chip any of the crystal away.
Yeah, Wesley, should I do the same thing and slice through?
A few little shards of it.
I mean, it's up to you, Amanda. I've already filled my pockets literally as full as they could be from the last cavern, so that's why I'm not taking any more. But if you've got room, I guess grab some.
Well, I got room for maybe one big one. I got lots of small ones here. I leave room for one big one, and there's lots of big ones here. So, like, again, you're the expert. If you think, Wesley, that's a bad idea, then I shall not.
I mean, I feel like at this point my expertise is wrapping up as we close here, and it's pretty much the stage of grab everything that you can carry that's not nailed down.
Okay. I'll get one on our way back up. But otherwise, I'm full. Everybody ready to go?
Lula May is like filling all of her pockets with this crystal stuff.
So I should clarify. It's basically like a big giant column that goes up through the ceiling, and some of it goes down along the back columns of the room.
Yeah.
So there's not really loose crystal here like there is up in the cave entrance.
Is she able to chip it off or no?
You can chip off like a few little shards.
Oh, like, okay. All right.
Not like a chunk.
So she's going to chip off a couple of shards just in case the different rooms have different properties. And then she's 100%, like, she's already got a bunch, but she's going to fill up her pockets on the way out.
Okay.
MJ is just looking at Wesley really suspiciously. He like keeps looking at him and then looks away. Trying to see the corruption if it's any, or he's gonna like go crazy.
MJ, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just feel like my arm is gonna fall off.
Oh, do you want me to get you some metal? That way we can prop it up?
Yeah, sure.
And just pulls out of like their pockets just like one long piece that's a little longer than the pocket for a comedic effect. And just duct tapes that to MJ's arm.
Oh, she's leaning into this. She's like, "Oh, this is so much better. It's not falling off anymore. Thank you. I don't know what I did to it."
If you all figured out what the console said, it might be worth saying some of the walls behind the crystal has shit written on it too. I don't know if it's the same stuff. If you want to look at it.
Well, I will look at it and then like make sure I'm far away from any corrupted people.
Lula May is going to go over.
Thank goodness we don't have any of those in this group.
Yeah. Lula May is going to go over and look at it, and she's going to take a surprise item out of her bag, out of her pocket. I know. Calm down there, killer, all right? Okay, this is the family show. She's going to take out a flask of a flask, and she's going to take a sip from it and be like, "This man, I'll tell you, if my daddy were alive today,
That's the flask that, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the flask that you poured in last episode, some of that gasoline that was used.
No, this is like her
jug.
secret. This is her secret stash of hooch.
Thank you. I needed a clarification.
And that was just alcohol, right? You didn't put any of those shards in it?
No. It's just liquor.
Okay. Just make sure.
I mean, I'm not saying she won't imbibe. I'm just saying she's choosing not to right now.
Okay. So MJ's going to look at the wall. Give me a sight roll to see if you're able to read it well enough through this big chunk of crystal that's there. We'll see if you can learn some more information. Sorry. Yeah, I just need you to make a sight roll for the text that's behind that crystal. Nice, 27. Yeah, you're able to get some more information. So the gist of it is that when you're using like common sources of energy, so say like fire or electricity or kinetic energy and things like that, the substance is relatively stable. As long as you don't put too much into it, it's not going to explode or do anything weird. But when you combine it with magic energy, it becomes unstable. Both in the form of making the person that's using it unstable, and as a element or substance, it becomes unstable as well. So it doesn't always react the way it's supposed to. Sometimes it can explode. Sometimes it can cause other weird things to happen. If it's absorbed, then the user can use that energy. It makes them very powerful for a short period of time, but it has that corrupting effect. If magic energy is thrown at it, though, it becomes very. That's when weird stuff starts to happen. So using magic on it is even more ill-advised than letting magic users consume it.
Okay.
Basically, is what you read.
Okay, after she reads that, she's going to look over at Amanda and Wesley and then take Lula May to the side and tell her what it says.
Amanda is visually exiting the room and trying to go back across the bridge and just try to move upwards since we're done in here.
Okay.
Lula May is like concerned because like she's not really like excited about the whole like exploding minions thing. Having minions is new for her, but she's also like legitimately concerned for Wesley, not so much like about what he's gonna do, but also like, is this actually really good for him, and is like this gonna be a problem? And so she's like, she sort of like listens, and she's like, look, I don't know how much we're actually gonna be able. I don't know how much he's gonna listen about whether or not he should be consuming this, but if Dan Coe gets a hold of this, like, it's the end for all of us. I mean, it's the end for everything if they get their hands on this. Now, look, I admit I don't know Wesley from a hole in the wall, but we can't just leave this here without knowing anything about it. We can't let Dan Coe be the only people on Calamity that have access to something like this. I mean, you want to be living your life at the company store forever?
So how do we keep them from getting this?
I don't know, y'all, but like, I'm gonna grab as much as I can on the way out, and I've got my tools with me. Thank heaven they didn't get destroyed in the Jeep. But I'm gonna see what I can do, augment our weapons, maybe make some things for us. I know you'll be able to help. You're good with stuff like that. But, I mean, we either leave this here and let Dan Coe have all of it, or maybe we try and get the jump on him by knowing more about what it does and possibly trying to keep our friend from blowing himself into pea soup.
Gotta keep it away from him.
I mean, I don't know.
How do we do that?
I don't know, but we have to keep it away from Dan Coe. Wesley thinks he can control himself. That remains to be seen as far as I'm concerned, but we cannot. Like, they have everything, MJ. They own everything. You give them a power like this, it'll just be curtains for the rest of us.
How do we
Gotta figure out
set
what
some of those dogs out there? because they honestly sent us here because they can't get in. That's why they're sending people. And if we kill all of their stuff so they can just walk in and take all the crystals out, then that's helping them. So we need to put whatever protections we're back on here when we leave.
We got to do something.
So, yeah.
I wonder.
Set up a bomb.
I wonder if there's some kind of way. So, like, when I hit the button when we crossed the bridge, it made it so everyone could cross the bridge. I wonder if there's something we can do to make it so nobody can cross that bridge once we're all on the other side. I mean, at the very least,
destroy the button?
Slow them down.
Can we destroy the button?
I don't know if that'll leave the bridge up or if that'll take it down, but it's worth a shot. We can't let them get in here. I mean, maybe they sent us in here to die or something, but like, I mean, you've seen what they've done. I
think they just send people in, hope that they'll get past, and they just send us in like trying to figure out how they can get to it easily. So they don't care if we die.
No. We're just Teds in somebody else's.
Yeah, we're their Teds.
Pyramid.
We are their Teds.
Lula May looks like legitimately like she looks like this is like really, really a problem. Like really, really bothers her.
Okay.
Kind of like just like not like she's like not mad about anything, but like this is like some idea that maybe there's a little bit more to her than just like power control and lemonade. Like that there's a larger
Hey, is there an opposite magic that we can like blast this stuff with? Like a green crystal that we could hit the purple crystal with and it'll just make the crystals go away?
You definitely haven't seen any evidence of anything like that. You do know that this does have some of the same properties as Liridium, which is a purple sort of rock. And that has not been known to have corrupting influences, but it also doesn't have the same energy properties as this does.
I need somewhere where I could just experiment and see what happens.
Yeah, I think Liridium would be common enough knowledge that you'd know of its existence and what it does, and that this is somehow related to it, but you wouldn't know if it would how it would interact. Mm-hmm. Basically.
Okay. Would we have? Is that something that we would have on us?
Wesley is the only one that might maybe have some.
Wesley's suspicious.
It's a fairly rare element.
So if we pick up the 3 Jimmy Jams on the altar thing, that alarm is going to blare, which talks to somebody.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can't.
Who?
It's too bad we can't get out of here fast enough. Wait a minute. Amanda, darling! How much of that dynamite did you say you
Are
had
you guys
left?
coming or not?
Amanda's already headed out at this point.
She's gonna shout up. She's gonna be like, "Darling, how much of that dynamite do you have?"
I had more glycerin than I had dynamite. I only got 1 stick.
All right. So, look, I'm not entertaining the notion that somehow this ragtag group of, I would say quite fashionable individuals now that I'm looking at us, but I don't have any like machinations in my mind that we're going to really be able to hold off the full force and fury of Danco. But we might be able to slow them down. We get whatever we can out of here and we blow up that hallway. Might be the only shot we have.
A couple of quick reminders, just in case people don't remember from previous sessions. I'm not at all trying to dissuade you from what you're talking about doing here. Just this might change your perspective a little bit if you remember this. So one, Danco doesn't know where you are currently because you all sabotaged your trackers. Two, they don't know where the vault is or what they're looking for exactly. They're looking for a vault, and they've got a few possible locations that they're sending cannon fodder into. And three, the alarm only sounded when Amanda picked up one of the crystals.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it was because all three of them had been picked up.
No.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you bringing me back to that. So, Danco, this is like above the table. This is like my middle school teacher brain is fried.
No worries. That's why I'm happy to remind you of details, because I know all of our brains are just out of it today.
Yeah, I'm very, don't worry, I'm very used to being the one in a group that needs the most reminders. That's a very commonplace for me. So Danco doesn't know where we are, but they do know the maps that they gave us, right?
Mm-hmm. They know something's potentially here.
Okay, so
but they don't know for sure.
If they don't know where we are, and we want more of this rock, maybe the crane idea isn't so bad after all.
Okay, I came back so you're not yelling at each other. I feel like that's a dumb idea. Now, what about the dynamite stick and the nitroglycerin I have?
Well, sweetheart, I think maybe perhaps we are going to table the idea of explosives. We're trying to figure out how we can get as much out of this here as possible without blowing ourselves up or letting it fall into the hands of Danco.
Well, we got two options here. Either we blow a big hole in here so we can bring a crane in, or we bring all the parts of a crane in here, build it up, and then start removing things. I just think we'll solve more problems by just blowing up a hole in here. But again, I think if we go worst case scenario, if you want something much safer on a control, we could probably just use the engine up there with a little bit of gasoline and have that wire around one of the crystals, so if it blows up, boom, you got one there rather than down here. Because that engine still is working, and we can make it work, it's just the car won't move. The engine still's good, so we can make a pretty decent explosive out of that.
No, the engine was crushed.
No, I feel like, darling, that Jeep is joined the land of the faithful departed.
The only part of the Jeep that was like relatively intact is the passenger area.
So,
just as a reminder for myself, Lula May and MJ, you have not left this room, right? The altar room.
No, is everyone else gone?
Wesley stayed.
Amanda walked up and then came back, so they weren't.
It was just Amanda left.
Lula May's gonna take a deep breath and turn to Wes, and like you can tell that like she's like not real sure she's making a good choice, and she's gonna be like, "You don't happen to have a whole bunch of Teds with any mining experience, do you?"
I mean, so maybe. I mean, again, I really saw what they were capable of at the compound at the same point that you did. I mean, Merc used to be a miner. He might have taught some of them how to do it before he fucked off to wherever he went.
So we're gonna leave, go get the Teds, and have them come back here and mine. Sounds like a plan. Let's go!
All right. Does everybody head out?
So, is your concern that Tedco finds this place before we could mine it dry, type thing?
Listen, I'm gonna be very real with you, because you know what? Despite my better judgment, I actually don't hate you entirely. But um,
Apparently.
no. I mean, look. I'm not exactly a warm fuzzy. It's good. Um, I would much rather trust this here substance in your hands 10 days out of 10 than I would it within a mile and a half of Danco. So it appears as though maybe I have reconsidered my earlier position on the subject.
I think we should probably be walking and talking unless that overly force that brought the rock down brings the whole cavern on us down so that we keep moving.
Right. So we don't know how Danco found out these places as points of interest. On the off chance, I know they don't know where we're at, but do we want to trash the entrance on our way out at least? So that it like blends in with. So I mean, we caused a cave. Somebody blew up that flying car and caused a cave in, right?
That was let's see, Sassy Ted, right, MJ?
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to close off the rest of that little hole, right? And then hopefully, if some other poor saps, some other, I guess let's call them like Danco brand Teds, come, then it makes it harder for them to find.
Dans.
We could just have, because even though you guys don't want an explosive now, we could always just do the standard trip mine over near the button, so whenever someone else after us comes in, they step on, boom.
Do you have
no more
mines?
dance.
That would work, but I wonder who they were talking to, who the alarms were talking to.
I wonder even if Danco knows that. This doesn't seem like the kind of thing, if they knew it was here, that they would send us.
No.
They could have taken care of those dogs in 5 minutes.
No,
I feel like if we're going to find out anyway, if we just leave and go, get the Teds, and then come back. Let them
I'm
do
not
the hard
sure.
labor.
But I think Amanda might want to leave.
I know it's very subtle. I'm having a real hard time parsing their motivation. They're vague. No.
Sorry, Amanda, my foot fell asleep, so I can't walk.
She's
Okay.
I like about her subtlety.
Don't worry, I can lift you, MJ. Hey. Okay, I'm gonna go down a little bit, so that should make it easy. You can just lie down on the back, then we can just duct tape you to my back. Okay?
Oh my god.
Before we entirely head out of the room, because I know that's where we're going, Raven, at one point you mentioned that there were parts of the crystal that didn't seem to be like reflecting light back, that like stayed dark.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just take a peek at that area? And
yeah,
I guess see if
seems to be areas where the crystal's more dense, where it's just like grown over itself a bunch of times.
Does it
so where it's thicker and whatnot, it didn't seem to absorb the light. Or reflect the light, rather.
If I like poke like a magic-y finger at it, does it seem like it's because there's like more energy concentrated there, or it's just physical thickness?
So you're gonna like make your finger magic-y and try to poke at it, basically?
I mean, I feel like that's how Wesley would test this. I'm like, for purposes, he's trying to figure out if the energy is, if like the physical thickness has to correlate with how much energy is stored into it.
Gotcha. Okay. So to answer the question part, the bigger the chunk is, or the thicker it is, seems to correlate to how much energy it can absorb. So that little bit of light, it wasn't reflecting it because it was just quickly sucking it in.
Got it. So not that it was already full of energy and that's what caused it to grow. It's just got a higher storage space.
Yeah. Now for the magic-y finger part, as you get close to it, before you even touch it, you can see like distortion waves rippling off of it, like like looking at really hot asphalt at a distance. Um, and I'm not even gonna make you roll gut feeling. You have a bad feeling.
Okay.
So do you touch it, or do you leave it alone at that?
I mean, not if I have a bad feeling. I'm not a total idiot. I don't touch it with.
Ask. I don't think that you are, but I still have to ask.
No, I don't touch it with magic, but I would. What I might try and do is see if I can't chisel like one of those thick chunks out to take with.
Sure. What with?
I have a big fuck off axe, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, we'll do a might check.
Oh, sad.
You go to swing at it, and the axe just sort of bounces off and clatters to the side. You still are holding it, but it just
No.
it kind of does the wobble thing. There's a few little purple sparks that fly off of the crystal, but that's all that happens.
If I were to use precision tools that I had with me, could I cheese my way into having it be a check that I'm better at than might?
Perhaps. What is it that you're wanting to do exactly?
So Lulame feels bad because, I mean, it's not Wes's fault that he really likes eating the, explodey rocks and being able to explode things. I mean, who doesn't want to explode things? It's like her entire professional career is based off people wanting to explode things. So if he wants a piece of the darker, different crystal, she's going to try and get it. And using, her more fine work tools and not as was eloquently stated, a big fuck off axe.
Yeah. If you want to do that, I could argue for art, or I could argue for nimbleness.
Well, I'm better at nimbleness.
I just love the fact that while you guys are doing that in the background, you have Amanda trying to get MJ just duct tape on her back, and they're going back and forth just so that MJ doesn't have to walk on the sleepy foot.
Yeah, you're able to get a fist-sized chunk eventually. It takes you probably about 10 minutes at least. But you're able to get a fist-sized chunk out of the middle of this really dense section of the crystal.
So while she's going, she's gently being you gotta understand. So the crystals grow and they all are supposed to go in the same direction. So if you hit it, not at the angle of where they've grown, it's just gonna bounce right off like a dang force field. But if you chip away around the edges, it's gonna take more time, but you're more likely to get better results. And she's gonna hand him the fist-sized chunk and start on her way out.
Okay.
So I'm guessing what has is that Amanda is trying to just almost crawl with MJ duct taped to their back as they're moving forward, trying to get out.
Okay. So as everybody leaves, I need a sight check from Lulame and MJ. $13. And for MJ, sight. A 15. 15 is good enough. So with a 15, that's good enough. You're able to point it out to Lulame, and you can both see this as you head up. Remember how there was writing on the walls all the way down? You can read that now. And if you just read it as you go along, you're able to find out basically up towards the top there's a whole bunch of warnings, the equivalent of radioactive warnings and danger, risk of electrocution type stuff, but obviously a little bit more magical or mysterious in wording. But you get the gist that that's the equivalent, a bunch of warnings. And then as you see the ones that are deeper, it goes on to talk about this alien culture and how they used this crystal to power their empire as an energy source. But then the witches showed up, basically those among them who could use magic, and they had an adverse reaction to this stuff. They figured out they could use it as a power source for their magic, and it basically brought about the downfall of their society. And before they were completely wiped out, they stored all of their knowledge and riches and things like that. They're more precious treasures and things like that into vaults around the galaxy, and destroyed all that they could of this black Lyridium, and stored the last bit that they didn't get to that they didn't destroy here in this vault, as a safeguard against the witches. And then the location of it was hidden, removed from any records, and anyone who had any knowledge about it was killed, to ensure that the witches never got their hands back on this substance.
Okay, so MJ is like, she's like duct taped, and she's like playing it up, and then she reads all of this, and she kind of stops playing it up.
So you just like get off the duct tape, just tear it off as you stand up.
Yeah, it's like
Keeps crawling and just go, oh, your foot got awake. Okay. And just gets up and then dust themselves off before moving a lot quicker forward up.
Lulame looks back at the. Does MJ tell Lulame what they see?
yes, yeah. MJ she'll get up and stop pretending like she can't walk, and like Lulame, and it's like kind of read stuff off to her.
Lulame sort of. Are Wesley and Amanda ahead? Like,
Sorry, say that one more time.
Back? Are we at the back?
I assume so.
Yeah, because it sounded like Amanda is now at the front. Wesley might be at the back or ahead of you.
So Lulame is going to look at MJ, look at the writing, and look at Wesley's retreating back and go, oh, well, shit. And that's going to be like, and she's just going to kind of shrug her shoulders and be like, the die is cast, y'all. See, legally distinct Caesar crossing the legally distinct Rubicon.
So on that note, knowing that you now hold the substance that ended an entire advanced alien civilization, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take about 10 minutes to let everybody stretch their legs, grab snacks and drinks and that sort of thing, and then we'll be right back and we'll figure out where the hunters are going to go from here. So yeah, stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. So, hope everybody had a good break. You learned about how this substance is essentially not exactly a clean, renewable source of energy, but it's a very powerful amplifier of existing energy that is basically clean as long as you don't put too much power into it and then make it explode. But when you give it to a magic user, it does weird stuff, and that brought about the downfall of a advanced society. So you've decided to now take as much of this as possible out of this cave with 2 magic users. When you get up to the top, you do see Jeb and Al. Jeb's feeling pretty sick, and Al is just kind of helping him along. But yeah, everything's fine outside. There's no dogs that are ready to attack you or anything like that. But you also don't have a vehicle. So where would you like to go? What would you like to do?
I have 2 possible ideas. We can either try to fix the busted, exploded air car into like a small vehicle, or we can just try to use some magic to get back to the Teds.
What is the like pile of debris look like from the Jeep and also the air thing combined?
The air car is pretty much non-existent. It exploded real hard. The Jeep, like the wheels themselves, the tires are fine. But you know, obviously, like the axles are bent and things like that, and the body of the car itself is pretty well crushed. But you could probably salvage the wheels. Maybe some of the metal somehow.
MJ is going to look over everything and like, I know it's not going to work, but she's like sadly going to try to fix it with her multi-tool. But I know it's not going to work, but she's just going to try and look kind of like sad that the car is gone.
Okay.
Actually, kind of like what Amanda is getting the wheels hopefully together, a couple of the actual slaps of metal, and it's roughly kind of like having a mixture of like duct tape to kind of like some metal pieces that should not be an axle, but essentially trying to duct tape them into being an axle for the wheels, then having kind of like that all on top of like very slapdash. Like this is very much trying to turn all this destructive stuff into maybe a one-shot sled at most.
Okay.
Are there dire dogs outside?
Yeah, there's still some left. They're around. They're not like right there at the entrance.
Now, my fabulous game master, my wonderful, thoughtful, beautiful game master. How could
I think I know where you're going with this.
Can I charm the dire dogs?
No, but you can use naturalist to try to tame them.
Oh no, y'all! Lula May does not camp. I'll tell you right now. I mean, I have 4 points in it. I'll probably get torn to shreds.
And yeah, Amanda, you can roll mechanical engineering to see if you can build a sort of sled out of the wreckage.
Um,
24.
I'm gonna spend a D6 so that way at least we get that to 25, because I feel like we need at least a 25 for this to work.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 29 total. So I'm guessing it's has no engine, but it's enough for us to probably have one ride on there if we can provide something to propel it.
I would say that you're able to like take the hood of the Jeep off, and maybe some of the other like door panels and things like that, and yeah, like fashion together, MacGyver enough stuff on there that you've got a platform that'll slide, and maybe a couple pieces of the axle or something like that as a handle. But you'd still need a way to propel it, but it would fit everybody on it.
Are there any cans of Ted meat that survived the explosion?
Yeah,
There's got to be at least some on the ground.
There's some
Okay, okay.
Ted brand canned meat.
Ted brand canned meat asterisk product.
Yep. The taste
So-
of friendship.
Here's what I'm wondering, right? If we like get this here cans of Ted brand meat product, and we like get like a stick sort of situation, and we attach the dire dogs to the front of the sled. I mean, man, like, have you seen?
I
that
like
freaking
what you're
film?
heading. I'm gonna work towards that.
I feel like we probably ran into some issues in training our dire dogs where we got them used to the taste of Ted, but I'm sure this will be fine.
Darling, I mean, in the last several minutes, right, I believe I've had a bit of a spiritual awakening, and I have come around to the idea of considering some of our lesser co-conspirators to be a bit more expendable than was previously my thinking.
Speaking of Ted's, Secret Journal Ted is still with you, so still there.
Dibs on-
Technically, Jeb is a Ted.
Dibs on Secret Journal Ted for piggyback if we all have to walk back.
I like just like while you're going about that, Amanda is just running after like some dogs with her yo-yo, just in the background, ready to try to rope them with it. Just going on in the background of this conversation.
Okay. All right. So the plan is to try and tame, at least somewhat, some of these dire dogs, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know. I am not like above the table. I'm not like particularly well versed at naturalist, so I don't know if that's really going to be something I'm going to be successful at. But I just envision the idea of dealing with the fact that they're hungry and getting them to run. You know.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. If you can get the dogs. Just as a heads up for Wesley, because this particular kind of magic was done in the last campaign because we were on Monster of the Week at the time.
Mm-hmm.
With your kinetic magic, if you wanted to try to like teleport everybody somewhere, I would say that you could potentially do that with kinetic magic. But it's big magic, so you're looking at probably a 45 to pull that off, to teleport everybody.
I'm not sure that is a thing that can happen.
I'm assuming my sterling personality can't really do much to help him, huh?
A natural
Now-
20 would put me at exactly a 45.
Now, if you used some of that black Liridium, that would
Yeah.
superpower your magic,
I was
and
going to
that
ask
would
what
lower
our
the
me-
DC.
I was going to say, how much of this rock candy do I need to chew for that?
Something that is like above the table, like because you can tell me if I'm wrong. Life magic is very much about allowing for the body to focus. So it might allow for Wesley to, if Amanda focuses their life magic into Wesley, before they do that, it might be something that would allow possibly to Wesley to do it a little easier, maybe at least lower the difficulty.
Not really.
Yeah, well, I'm trying, and like,
It was a good try. It's a
Can I,
good try.
can I mechanically engineer a way to lower the difficulty of this roll?
hey, life magic is
No.
very much of focusing the chi of the body and chi of others to help heal and strengthen.
Build a gumball machine of rock candy that maybe makes it into more manageable doses and lowers the threat rating of this particular adventure.
In the background, Amanda's still chasing after dogs with her yo-yo.
I mean, yeah, you could you could try to put it into the correct dosage that Wesley will need, so he's not just taking a whole big chunk. But you don't know the exact dosage that he'll
Right.
need.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, I'm pretty good at bullshitting my way if it makes a roll easier, but even I do not have the unending hubris to suggest that I have how much magic, like space meth, he's gonna need to teleport us back to the cult compound.
And
Let me-
just to be
let me-
clear, that's not me saying that this is the option you should take. Just letting you know that it is an option because you might not have known that.
Oh, no, I knew. I just appreciate when someone besides me suggests it. At this point.
And I'm sure it'll have no negative repercussions at all.
It never does. Yeah, so it's Wesley will say that, I wasn't usually the one teleporting us, but I did have a friend that I think I picked up how to do that from. I bet you I could that's probably, with our secret helper friend Rocks that we found, I bet you I could just get us back to camp. If the wild angry dogs don't work. What do your faces look like with the suggestion?
Amanda is after those dogs in the background. That's
So
literally
above the
until
table.
Raven tells me to roll for something. That's what I'm doing in the background. Is just with a yo-yo like a lasso. It's just chasing after dogs.
So
It's a
we
natural
don't know.
Letting you all have the focus.
Above the table, we don't know that you're seeing Brownie and.
No, I think I straight up told you all last time. I definitely when I
Told us
was
specifically that you were watching like a magic brownie.
I don't know how much we dug into Brownie, but I definitely explained that I was yelling at the ghost of Ted.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think you mentioned Brownie, but they definitely know about Ted. Ghost Ted.
She's gonna look Wesley like square in the eye and be like, "How many ghost Teds or Dans or whatever are you seeing right now?"
I mean, unless you all died and are haunting me, there's currently no ghosts.
Well, I mean, I do appreciate your suggestion that I would be powerful enough to charm my spirit to this particular spectral plane, but I assure you, when I shuffle off this mortal coil, I will be kissing Calamity goodbye.
Yeah, that seems like the right
They'll be
choice.
haunting you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you? Question mark.
So, I mean, it makes sense. The faster we get back, the faster I can figure out how to turn this shit into a magazine.
And look, it's not like I'm constantly seeing Ted and Brownie. Not like in the old days. Those two used to be around 24/7, just for the record. And with the rocks, yeah, they're a little unstable in their use. We're figuring it out, but I still have all of my faculties. I'm still here. I'm not like drunk or anything. That used to be more of the problem if you didn't catch on at the cult. Church at the church.
How long has this been going on with you?
What, like the ghosts and shit? Well, Ted showed up pretty much right after I killed him. And then Brownie, I think, was at the same time, because I actually like created a brownie monster out of thin air. And then after that thing had gone and like fucked up the people we were fighting, like a little version stuck around and was just like a really nice cheerleader friend. But that again, that I think I've explained this to Lula May, but the last year I was on what would be considered like I don't know if it's normal for Calamity to be on a year-long bender, but that was more the substances I was taking at the time. When I met you all, I had been off of that. I'd been trying to avoid it. I'm still clear thinking. They just showed up a little bit when I used the rocks. But we're still trying to figure the rocks out. I'm still myself. This is much better.
Okay. I think I see some nice weeds over there I need to pick.
And
I'm just going to back away.
And for the record, all of that, finding the vault was with all of that bullshit on board.
Yeah, I'm just going to go over there.
So
I'll just be really close.
Was that a yes to the teleporting?
Lula May sighs, and it's kind of the look that, like, in like the sports movie where like the boxer has like one more shot to go for the championship, and he comes home to his long-suffering wife, and he's like, "Totally not, Adrian. They're gonna let me fight again." And she's like, "Come on, totally not, Rocky. You take one more hit to the head, and you're a goner." And he's like, "But I got to do it." And in the end, she's like, "Okay." And then like it gets into the training montage. It's like that kind of a look, right? Of like,
I love this description.
all right. I'm just saying they better not kill me off in the third movie, y'all. I'm just saying it's not fair.
Right, you definitely have to be there when Wesley uses these rocks to achieve the godhood that the cult really needs him to.
Amanda in the background yelling, it. "Why won't you let me love you?"
If Lula May doesn't figure it out first.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda,
so look,
I guess roll for that, by the way.
Okay, like I was hoping more for the yo-yo since that's what they're trying to use the yo-yo.
There you go.
In the interest of time, I will just straight up tell you, if you try to lasso these things with a yo-yo, they will maul you, or try.
Yeah, I'm saying...
I find that funnier. So, like, that's why, like, I'm saying, are you sure I can't roll my yo-yo instead of naturalist?
If you would like to take damage, yes, you can try to use the yo-yo.
Yeah!
Okay.
Is it 29?
Yep, that's gonna hit. You lasso one of the dire dogs. It tries to run away, figures out that it's on a string, and just charges you and tries to maul you. Roll a defense, any of them.
Okay. I nat 1!
Okay. Yeah, it messes you up pretty good. Take 2d8 damage. Just go ahead and roll 2d8.
Okay, I just loved, like, it's not the dog, it's more the running away. And Amanda just keeps whacking things on the ground as they're being dragged along.
Oh my goodness.
So now, what do we do?
The dogs are still around. It
does it like bite her and then like fuck off, or does it like is it now? Are we like in initiative time?
No. It just yeah. It does a few bites and scratches and does a little bit of damage and then slips out of the yo-yo string and runs off.
Okay.
And Amanda takes 13 damage.
It's okay. I'm just down to 32.
That's not that bad.
Then probably as like they get back up, might use life magic to kind of like heal up as they walked over and going, "Okay, that was a bad idea."
What did we learn, darling?
Well, I learned not to listen to your first guess. I need to wait until after.
We need to wait until we have a plan. Yes, awesome.
I thought the plan was to get the dire dogs. That's what you told me to do, and I was going to try to get them.
Now, actually,
So
you
you
know,
get
it's
1d10 hit points back. Roll, Michael.
Okay, MJ is not actually picking weeds. She's just like watching everyone. Oh, sorry.
I know. I didn't think MJ had all of a sudden just discovered an interest in horticulture heretofore unknown. MJ like goes on this self-discovery mission and realizes that she desperately wants to be a botanist, and she just like discovers this great love of anything that's not rocks.
The truck is
Okay,
gone.
so
Grass is
since-
my new thing.
Okay, so Wesley, the dire dog that Lula May suggested is not going to work. So I have a dumb idea. If I'm pulsing energy into you as you're probably doing the crystal thing, maybe we can like jumpstart it so that we could all get transported.
I mean, do you just need to eat the rock in order to get us back to the compound?
I mean, I don't know how much nutritional value each of the rocks have. And for the record, I'm not like chomping into these. I'm reaching in and taking energy out. If that did you think I was eating these?
I mean, I'm gonna be real honest, right? I want you to just look me, bring it in here, okay? I want you to look me in my heart. I am not particularly well versed with the whole lot consumption of magical energy materials, and when we drank it, I just sort of backwards superimposed the idea that perhaps ingestion had been like a part of the process all along, and I had just not been paying attention. So you
Well,
just need to like touch it, and then like
well, it's
Yeah.
before I kind of like reached inside it because I don't know if we covered this. I can like go through things. That's like one of the things I can do. But I think, putting it in a drink was a good, obviously not for Ted, who should not have been participating, but was a good, provided useful data for how someone who's not magical could perhaps ingest it and attempt to use magic.
Lula May is going to put that in her little mental parking lot. Wonder how it would taste with lemonade.
Okay, so Wesley with a crystal in her hand, let's try to do this.
What's MJ up to?
She is just kind of, well, she was like looking for pieces of the car. Just, I don't know, she's got in her head that she could fix it. And she's like staying away from everyone because she is worried. Because there's like corruption, there's dog chasing. Who knows what everyone is going to do?
That's completely fair. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
If it has
going
the-
forward with the...
Well, it seems to have the blessing of all of the crystal critical people so far. So I think I'll give it a try.
Okay,
Okay.
you do the countdown and I'll do this with you.
There's a countdown.
How else are we supposed to do it at the same time and try? Like, I'm trying to put energy into you, so that way at least you're not risking death.
So I will say, with the way this is going to work, life magic is not going to help, but it does have the potential to give Amanda negative side effects. So it's up to you if you still want to do it. I could totally see where Amanda might think that this would be helping.
It's very much like it's very much I'll hold on to the crystal, same as you, and we'll both focus our energies. And one of these things is probably going to work. One of these things might not. But at least it's helping. Because Amanda's trying anything just to move us forward.
Okay.
I thought you were trying to put healing energy into me, which Wesley wasn't going to turn down because he's a little bit hurt. He doesn't think it'll help, but he's like, maybe I'll feel better.
Okay, if you specify that way, because I misunderstood what you were meaning. I meant we
That'll
both
work.
do this together. So that's what Amanda will do then instead.
Healing would help. Okay. And Wesley, so the fist-sized chunk that you got that was like really dark.
Oh, I don't know about. I want to save that one.
Okay, then
think.
like another crystal that's like regular but twice that size.
I'll pull out I'll empty one of my pockets.
Okay. There's also plenty of them still on the ground. You're right next to
Oh
the
yeah.
entrance to the cave. You can
Let's
just grab
let's use some of the ones I'm not already carrying because my equipment
Okay.
right now literally just has pockets full of dark liridium.
one. I love it. Pocket full of sunshine. So that'll take it from a 45 to a 35. But weird things can happen.
I feel like
Just before, I want to add at least one. If we spend any plot points, can we lower the difficulty any?
No.
Oh well, I tried.
I wouldn't know this in
Lume's
character.
watching
You
this get
can-
set up. She's gonna
You
take
can add
another
other.
last.
Sorry. Okay. With plot points, you can add other things to the scene to help that might assist, but you can't lower the DC with plot points. So if you have an idea for something that you want to throw in, and you've got the plot points or the coins or whatever to do it, that's cool. But it won't lower the DC directly.
I tried.
But any of that stuff that they read have anything about how to make the magic stronger?
No, pretty much everything
So like
that
they
you
can
read
like
was
I don't know,
this
draw a
is-
circle or something?
No, everything that you read about the magic stones and everything was basically that you should never ever do what you're about to do.
Good.
Okay.
Like doing this will void the warning to the extreme.
On our bodies.
Yep.
It's 1d8 appealing, I get Wesley, right? With a 22?
With a 22.
Or is that 1d6?
Let me see, so that's 15 is a D4, a 20 is a D6, and you get a 22. So yeah, D6.
Okay, thank you. You get 2 health back, Wesley.
Now it's
The world's warranty. Yeah.
are we all like around the scraps of the car? Did you want me to try and bring the car back?
Can?
Or are we just leaving this heap? Okay.
I think we're just all on a skiff, so that way we're all on one thing. So you're essentially transporting us and this one thing we're all on to make it a little easier.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a chunk of this dark liridium. And how I imagine like Wesley's phasing ability is almost like just the molecules of his body vibrating faster. And I think I start channeling that through the rock to start like speeding up the area around me and kind of it would almost I guess look like almost like God, like kind of just ripples extending out from that and going over everybody in the group.
Okay.
As I then
very cool.
like picture the path that we took here and like envision being there.
Okay. Do a magic engineering roll. DC's 35.
Yep. I think I still need a 20 on this. I don't think mechanically the rocks actually.
We believe in you.
Oh, damn it.
It's a 25.
Mhm.
You do have 2d6, so the closer you get to the DC, the less bad the results will be.
And we could only roll one of the d6s, right?
Normally, yes, but I'll even let you roll both if you want.
Why don't we start with the one?
Okay.
I assume folks want me to roll a d6 here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. How are we feeling about that second d6?
Why don't we just flop it on there?
31
Okay.
total? That's almost a 35.
I mean, it's basically 35 in dog years.
It's pretty darn close to the DC. So here's what happens. You start to do this teleportation, and at first you feel like this is going correctly. Like okay, yeah, I remember what my friend said. I followed all the steps. I checked off the list. But the
get the sensation that that Black Iridium also added an unstable element, which is starting to come into play. And just before you all blink out of existence from this spot, it's like everything starts vibrating and the portal, if you will, opens and you're about to go away. All of you feel this like sudden force, like you're being shoved really hard backwards. Doesn't hurt, but you feel like an extreme G-force sort of pressure on your body. And as you all wake up, none of you are in the same place. You don't see your friends anywhere. I think for May, Amanda, and MJ, it's pretty dark where you are, and you're not really able to tell much about your surroundings at first glance. Wesley, you're in the middle of the compound for the Church of the Sleeveless Way, and you don't see any of your friends. And I think that's where we're going to wrap up the session. But thank you, Michael, so much for that $4 donation for, I'm assuming that's D6s for the cast. Awesome.
I'm sorry, it didn't come fast enough. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. So yeah, that was fantastic. So you don't have too much anxiety. Everybody is safe. Nobody was hurt. You just aren't really sure where you are right as you reappear into the world. So we'll find out next week where everybody is, what's going on with that, and what the plan of attack is for this Black Iridium. Before we go on our raid, I do want to find out what everybody's favorite part was, and let everybody tell a little bit about where we can find them online and all that. So let's start with Michael. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else that you'd like to share?
My favorite part was Wesley being the sanest person in the room, with the iridium and all that kind of stuff. Just like, you know what? I'm just not gonna mess with it. You crazy folks, you can. I'm not really going to mess with that silly crystal thing. It's you. Like, it's just like funny, especially with that ending of where we don't really know. We just know we're on a road to nowhere. I'm Michael Wayne. You give me a clip, I'll give you a GIF. You can find me tomorrow on Bardic Knox channel at about 1 p.m. Central Time for Digimon/Crash, Digimon game where I play Billy Bliss with Aberrantmon, my OC Digimon. Remember, we're all in this together. I'm pulling for you.
Awesome. Next, we've got Icy Historian. What was your favorite part of the session? Where can we find you? And anything else you want to share?
Oh man, I think that what is quickly becoming my favorite part in general is the like slow gelling together of like different character motivations and like different interaction. Like, I like the idea of like Wes being like, no, I'm fine, I can do whatever I need to do. And then I feel like the second she meets eyes with him again, she's gonna be like, well, yes, oh, this was perfect. Oh, let me tell you, all of my fears are 100% set to rest right now. Like, I just imagine that it is gonna be like, the full, like, full moment. But I really enjoyed that. I also enjoy the like getting a little bit more of the lore about what we've got going on here. That's pretty cool. And just hanging out with everybody.
Aw.
Here we go.
Awesome.
And you can find me here on Tuesdays and anywhere I feel like being found on the internet at IC Historian. And I don't know, maybe other places. I'm not sure.
Awesome. Next, we've got Pat, which also, I'm sorry, I forgot one last roll. Wesley, I also needed a discipline roll for the effects of the Black Iridium. I knew I was forgetting something.
Oh no. Do you need that?
We all need a discipline roll.
That's a 17.
A 17. Okay, cool. So that's it's not terrible, not great. We'll also find out what happens with that next week. I just wanted to find out what the roll was.
Do I need to roll for that as well?
No, you're fine. So yeah, Wesley, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? Anything else you want to share? And by that I mean Pat, not Wesley.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, my favorite parts were, I think, Wesley and Lula May's small little argument down there about like, you don't put Ted's death on me. And then I really enjoyed Lula May and MJ essentially getting all of the lore and just the essentially kind of like the nervous glances of like, what the fuck do we do with this information now? Yeah. So I'm Pat. I'm a Tactric on Twitch and on Twitter. You can actually catch me doing a bunch of shit this week, apparently. I'm Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be on Polished Cryptid's channel running a one-shot of Trophy Dark for some spooky Halloween one-shots. Earlier that day at like 3 p.m.-ish on my channel, you can catch me and Leland and maybe Zan, if Zan's available after the move, playing probably not Divinity this week, but something spooky again. And then Saturday night, you can catch me at 9 p.m. Eastern, also on Polished's channel, where we're doing the first of a 4-part Urban Shadows campaign that I'm emceeing as part of their Powered by the Apocalypse little mini, God, I can't think of the word, showcase. That's it.
That's awesome. Very cool stuff. All right, and then next we've got Nikki. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you want to share?
I really liked how they were, Lula May and MJ and Wesley were like in the room with all the rocks, and Amanda's just like trying to get everyone to leave, and we're just not listening to her. I don't know why I like that so much. I just thought it was funny.
That was great.
And like the whole session was a lot of fun. You guys are always just the best. I love it. I think I'm playing on Thursday on this channel. And that's all I'm doing right now.
Oh, Friday.
Friday. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what day it is anymore. So.
Yeah. What even is time anymore?
Mm.
I don't know. I just show up and have fun.
But yeah, Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time is school days, our Masks campaign.
Okay. Well, I'll be there, and I'm not really doing much else, but I'm going to try to. So
Awesome.
hopefully I'll see you guys around.
Absolutely. And that just leaves me. A lot of really good parts. I did particularly enjoy what I was like. I'm not saying like this is the option that you have to take, but it's an option. And Pat, you were like, no, I know it's an option. I just glad it was somebody else that suggested it. That was just a great moment. It was funny. But I also really enjoyed watching you all trying to figure out the puzzle in the altar room. That was also really fun to see your thought processes there. I think those two are my favorite parts. You can find me next. I believe we're still on for Exodus tomorrow at 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I know we will be missing Yasmin, but I think we still are going to do something Exodus related tomorrow night. Aside from that, you can find me, Friday at noon Mountain Time for Neon Devils, and I'll be producing School Days that same day at 6. And of course we've got a one-shot on Saturday that Yasmin's running based on a comic that she's working on. It's going to be Monster of the Week. We are still looking for people to sign up, so DM me on Discord or Twitter if you'd be interested in playing. And then Saturday night we'll have Animus Absentus again, so that's sort of the schedule for the week. And other things to share, you can find all my different things in linktree / the Raven, like it is in my Twitter. I think it's link.tree TRE, I think is how that's spelled. It's the Linktree website. But also, particular things to check out are Patreon. There's a lot of really cool stuff there, including new soundtracks that are going to be up before the end of the month for Exodus and Neon Devils and School Days that you'll be able to download. That is for patrons. And there's a lot of new art that's been going up recently, and patrons get access to the really high resolution art that you can actually use for like computer backgrounds and things like that. And there's new merch going up all the time on my Etsy, which is just the Raven Evermore on Etsy. For various products, some of them from Hunters, some of them are going to be coming in from other shows as well. So if you follow any of the shows on the channel, there's going to be merch for several of them. Yeah, Michael's got the Hoffy magnet, which is from this game. And I think that's all, pretty much it for announcements. We're going to go on a raid. We're going to go raid Georgie May, who is just a wonderful person. She's a lot of fun to hang out with. She's currently playing, I think, Mass Effect? Yeah. So definitely go say hi to her, give her a follow if you're not doing so already. And we've got our raid cry, which is it exploded real hard. And then I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.